Rockets get it done in Game 7, knocking off OKC, and will advance to face the Lakers in the semis. That's going to be fun. Chris Paul was emotional post-game, rightfully so, getting sent home by his former team. Take a listen.
I don't know, man. It's a tough one. It's tough. We fought hard all year. Obviously, a lot of people doubted us, but we didn't doubt ourselves. We didn't give a damn about anybody's predictions going into any series. In any game, we expected to win, right? And that's the way we played all season long. Every game, we expected to win. And so, yeah, that's a tough one.
Oh, hard to see Chris Paul hurting like that. Such a good guy, plays so hard. Max, I want to focus on Houston here now, though, because obviously they're the ones that are advancing to take on the Lakers. How do you feel about this Rockets team?
I feel like James Harden's reputation was on the line at the end of that game, and he saved it. Are you kidding me? In a Game 7 in the first round, where you're playing the team where your number 2 guy, Russell Westbrook, was swapped for the other guy's star, Chris Paul, and you and Chris Paul don't get along. And the whole, come on, everyone's talking about it. I know I may be the most vocal about it, but everyone knows it. James Harden chokes under pressure consistently in his career. What does that mean? It means whatever level he sets normally, he plays under that level consistently when it means most. And little by little, he was making strides. He'd have more good games than bad. He'd even have some MVP level games in the playoffs. But then ultimately, he's dribbling the ball off his foot. He's looking for a call and jumping under Draymond Green's legs instead of hitting a shot. There are many examples of in the biggest moments, under the most pressure, he folds. And last night, I mean, are you kidding me? A 20-year-old unsigned rookie is giving you that work on both ends of the floor in a Game 7? Getting you for 30 and shutting you down with his defense? You have no offense going because a 20-year-old undrafted player is giving you the business? I was watching this like, don't do it, because I have to come out here the next day and tell the truth and say that's it. That maybe not the final nail, but it's another nail in the coffin of James Harden's postseason reputation. First round exit behind a 20-year-old undrafted rookie eating your lunch on both ends of the floor in a series like this. And then with that last play, that's something James Harden has done. When his offense wasn't working in the playoffs, a couple years ago, he started really focusing on his defense. And he did it again. He saved the game. And then to have the presence of mind when Dort tried to throw the ball off him so it would go out of bounds, and he jumps up and the ball misses him. That was clutch play from James Harden and Stephen A. Smith that not only saved the Rockets' season, it saved James Harden's reputation.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I don't get caught up in, I've never been one to believe that, quote unquote, he choked. But I will confess to you, and I texted you last night, I was like, oh, my God. Because if they lose this game with the way James Harden is playing, Max, I got nothing to say to you. I literally text you. You know that I texted you last night. I was like, I can't say anything because that was bad. That was a horrible offensive. That's right. We text Jordan after the game. I said that is a horrible performance. I will have absolutely nothing to say to Max. I will literally sit up here and recline in my chair and not say a word because I could. If he had not made that defensive play to save the game and they had lost this game, there's no way he couldn't recover from that because that's how bad he was offensively. That is true. I'm not going to hold him accountable for what Lou Dort did offensively because it wasn't like he was guarding. And remember, most of this guy's shots were open because he's built like a linebacker, plays defense like a linebacker, and most of the time had been left open to shoot because they didn't want Chris Paul shooting, they didn't want Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shooting, they didn't want Schrader shooting. So as a result, you left him open from the outside because he's really primarily there because he's such a, Lou Dort I'm talking about, because he's such a physical specimen, built like a linebacker, really bodies you up, gets physical with you, and the dude played out of his mind last night. That kid deserves a lot of props. What a performance by him. I wish I could say the same for Danilo Gallinari. He just didn't show up, but I'm no surprise. He always reminds me why the Knicks didn't have a problem trading him. But in the case of Houston, here's the bottom line. When you look at them right now, this is what I walked away from is that's not going to beat the Lakers. You can't play like that. Russell Westbrook had some great moments in the game and redeemed himself from Game 6 without question. But we've seen him be more spectacular than that, of course. James Harden was awful offensively. We don't anticipate that that's going to happen again. Not that bad. But the bottom line is you just looked at the Houston Rockets, and guess what? The MVP of the game deserved to be Elston Turner, the man that's running your defense for you, because Houston was making stops when necessary. We got to hold Chris Paul accountable to some degree because as sensational he was as he was in Game 6, particularly in clutch situations. Wasn't there for him last night probably because he was gassed as the game waned. Almost turned the ball over to Russell Westbrook on that last play that ultimately Shai Gilgeous swung the ball over to Dort and had his shot blocked by James Harden. But Chris Paul almost turned that ball over. He missed a gimme in the lane a couple of possessions earlier that would have given them a lead and put even more pressure under Houston. But in the end, OKC clearly overachieved. We give our props and respects to them for giving us such a great series and playing so hard and wanting it so bad. But in the end, we all wanted to see James Harden and Russell Westbrook against LeBron James and the crew. But I'll tell you this much. I want James Harden and Russell Westbrook to be who we know they can be. Because anything less or something along these lines, they will be home in 5. In 5. Robert Covington, by the way, a lot of props for how he played. All right, Eric Gordon, a lot of props for how he played as well. Those brothers showed up and played their game. Russell Westbrook improved exponentially from Game 6. James Harden just disappeared offensively, but made the play of the game on defense, and give him props for that because there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say.
No doubt.
And the fact that he showed up on the defensive end, he deserves a lot of credit for showing up and not leaning on strictly his offense to get the job done. He showed up on the other side of the ball.
The highest leverage. That was the highest leverage moment of the game. And I don't care. He played poorly throughout the game, but he played great throughout this series. And his presence of mind, not only to block the shot, but to jump so the ball missed him when he threw it at him, that was a great clutch play, and it saved the season. Great work from James Harden.
All right, fellas, now you know what it is. Rockets, Lakers. The Rockets were the only team in the NBA to beat the Lakers by 10-plus points multiple times this season. Westbrook averaged 38 against LA this year. We'll see what happens. When we come back here on First Take, we are going to get into some NFL. Wait till you hear what new weapon...